The Golden Goose. Once upon a time, in a quaint village nestled between rolling hills and lush meadows, there lived a poor farmer named Thomas. Thomas was a hard-working man, always toiling from dawn to dusk to make ends meet. Despite his efforts, he barely earned enough to feed himself and his family. His small farm produced just enough to keep them from starving, but not much more. One crisp autumn morning, as Thomas was tending to his fields, he noticed something unusual near the edge of the forest. There, lying in a patch of tall grass, was a large, gleaming egg. Its surface shimmered with a golden hue, and it seemed to glow in the early morning light. Thomas had never seen anything like it before. Curious and hopeful, Thomas carefully picked up the egg and brought it back to his humble cottage. His wife, Mary, and their two children, Anna and Ben, gathered around, eyes wide with wonder. "What kind of egg is this, Father?" asked Anna, her eyes sparkling with curiosity. "I'm not sure," Thomas replied, "but it looks like it might be worth something." The next day, Thomas took the golden egg to the village market. The villagers were astounded by its beauty and rarity. The local jeweler, a wise old man with a keen eye for precious items, examined the egg and declared it to be made of solid gold. Thomas couldn't believe his luck when the jeweler offered him a small fortune for it. With the money, Thomas was able to buy enough food and supplies to last his family through the winter. As the days passed, Thomas often thought about the golden egg and where it might have come from. Early one morning, driven by curiosity, he decided to return to the spot where he had found the egg. To his amazement, there, in the same patch of grass, was another golden egg, identical to the first. Thomas couldn't believe his eyes. He picked up the egg and hurried back home, his heart pounding with excitement. He showed the egg to Mary and the children, and they were just as astonished as he was. "This must be a miracle," exclaimed Ben. "Where do you think these eggs are coming from, Father?" "I don't know," Thomas replied, "but we must be cautious. Such a gift should not be taken for granted." Days turned into weeks, and every morning, Thomas would find a new golden egg in the same spot. The family's fortunes began to change. They were able to buy new clothes, repair their cottage, and even help their neighbors who were in need. The once poor farmer and his family became known for their generosity and kindness. However, as time went on, Thomas began to grow greedy. The wealth and comfort that the golden eggs brought made him yearn for more. He started to think about the source of the eggs and wondered if he could get even more gold. "One egg a day is good," he thought. "But if I could find the goose that lays these eggs, I would be rich beyond my wildest dreams." Determined to find the source, Thomas set out one night to the spot where he had been finding the eggs. He decided to hide and wait to see what would happen. As the moon rose high in the sky, Thomas saw a magnificent golden goose waddling towards the patch of grass. The goose carefully laid a golden egg and then disappeared back into the forest. Thomas couldn't contain his excitement. He followed the goose through the forest, hoping it would lead him to more treasure. Eventually, he came to a small clearing where the golden goose had made its nest. The nest was filled with golden eggs, each one more brilliant than the last. Thomas's eyes gleamed with greed. He thought to himself, "If I take the goose, I'll have all the gold I could ever want. I'll be the richest man in the village." Without a second thought, Thomas grabbed the golden goose and carried it back to his cottage. He was sure that his fortune was made. However, the next morning, when he went to check on the goose, he found that it had laid no eggs. The once golden feathers of the goose had turned dull and lifeless. Thomas realized, to his horror, that in his greed, he had ruined the magic. Thomas's heart sank with regret. He had been given a wonderful gift, but his greed had caused him to lose it all. He gathered his family and confessed what he had done. Mary and the children were saddened, but they forgave Thomas. "We still have each other," Mary said gently, "and we have learned a valuable lesson. Greed can destroy even the most wonderful blessings." Thomas nodded, tears in his eyes. "I promise, from now on, I will be grateful for what we have and never let greed take over my heart again." With time, the family's wealth dwindled, but they managed to keep enough to live comfortably. They returned to their simple, hard-working lives, cherishing the love and togetherness they shared. Thomas became known for his wisdom and generosity, often sharing the story of the Golden Goose and the lesson he had learned with others. And so, the tale of the Golden Goose became a legend in the village, a reminder that true wealth is found not in gold and riches, but in the love and kindness we share with one another. This unique retelling of the Golden Goose emphasizes the importance of gratitude, the dangers of greed, and the true value of love and generosity. It highlights the lesson that material wealth is fleeting, but the bonds of family and community are what truly make us rich.